Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're doing something, well, kind of unexpected. We're taking traditional astrological concepts, specifically a placement known as Mercury in the second house, and we're completely stripping away all the complex jargon. Seriously, we're tossing it out. Instead, we're translating this into a highly actionable, everyday playbook for your career and financial growth. We're going to look at this source material strictly through the lens of modern business. Think of your innate personality traits as the foundational assets of your very own personal startup.
To kick things off, let me ask you a question directly, and I really want you to think about this for a second. What if your natural communication skills were your single biggest financial asset? Not your bank account, not a piece of real estate, but your actual words. Because the data from our source material suggests that for this specific type of thinker, strong communication isn't just some nice-to-have soft skill. No, it's the direct engine for attracting money, new opportunities, and serious business growth.
All right, here's the game plan for This Explainer, structured just like a business plan. 1. You are a business startup. 2. Childhood roots of financial mindset. 3. Communication as your true currency. 4. Side hustles and networking wealth. 5. Taming your mental restlessness. And 6. Scaling for long-term security.
Okay, let's jump straight into section 1. You are a business startup, transforming astrology into practical strategy.
Now, it's actually incredibly easy to translate this. Think of the concept of Mercury as your internal CEO. It represents your intellect, your adaptability, business savvy, and analysis. The second house, on the other hand, represents your capital, so your wealth, your stability, and your self-worth. When you put that CEO in charge of the capital, you get someone who naturally builds stability through knowledge and mental skill. Your brain is the executive, and your words are the actual product.
And this is where it gets cool, because your internal growth mirrors a real startup's business plan. You don't just wake up one day as a master communicator. It maps out a clear path from your early lessons, think of that as your R&D phase, to acquiring specific skills, and finally executing those skills out in the market to generate revenue.
Moving right along to section 2, childhood roots of financial mindset, your early R&D phase.
So according to the source material, your early family environment strongly dictated your education, your communication style, and really your entire financial mindset. I mean, think of your family as your very first board of directors. The way money was discussed, or, maybe not discussed, and the way arguments or negotiations were handled in your childhood home, that basically programmed your internal CEO. If you want to understand your current financial baseline today, you absolutely have to look back at the corporate culture of that childhood R&D phase.
All right, section 3, communication as your true currency, acquiring the skills to earn. Your speech is just naturally adaptable. It can be intelligent, witty, persuasive, highly analytical, or totally fast-paced. But what's absolutely crucial here is that the source notes this often shifts depending on your current emotional state. You have this unique superpower to read a room and instantly adapt your pitch. You can be super analytical with a client who just wants the raw data, and then totally witty with a networking contact who needs to be charmed. This dynamic speech is exactly how you persuade the market to invest in you. But here's the real kicker. You need to understand that for this specific profile, your actual self-worth is fundamentally tied to these traits. It's really not just about having a big pile of money in the bank. Your confidence comes directly from your intelligence, your accumulated knowledge, your speaking ability, and your professional success. When you feel smart and articulate, you feel secure. But the second you aren't using your brain to its full capacity, your sense of self-worth absolutely plummets.
Let's dive into section 4, side hustles and networking wealth, diversifying your revenue streams.
Based on the career insights from our source, here are 3 highly actionable side hustles that are perfectly suited for this mindset to really accelerate your income. Number 1, freelance writing or teaching. This is where you literally sell your knowledge and your words. Number 2, digital marketing and media, which leverages your adaptability and wit perfectly. And number 3, finance, trading, or sales, where your analytical brain and persuasive speech can go out and close deals. Because your brain genuinely craves multiple income sources, exploring these avenues isn't just profitable for you, it's mentally super satisfying. The source material actually highlights a recurring story with this placement that I just love. Picture a freelance writer attending a standard industry event. They aren't even explicitly trying to sell anything, but through just one casual, highly intelligent networking chat, they manage to totally impress a CEO. And that single conversation, it turns into a massive wealth-building client retainer. It perfectly proves that strong communication directly attracts opportunities. Your words literally act as a magnet for capital when you use them strategically. Moving to Section 5, Taming Your Mental Restlessness, Risk Management for the Mind.
Now we have to talk about a major vulnerability the source points out. Constant thinking about money, stability, and planning creates intense mental restlessness. It's like your internal CEO basically refuses to clock out, right? You're constantly refreshing mental spreadsheets at 3 in the morning. Because you're always projecting into the future to ensure security, planning for tomorrow can so easily ruin your peace today. This makes daily grounding habits, like taking a tech-free walk, meditating, or even just sitting down to read a physical book, absolutely essential. You have to do this to protect your confidence and your financial security. Seriously, you have to force that CEO to take a lunch break. Because if you don't, this mental restlessness can wreak absolute havoc on your bottom line. We're talking wildly fluctuating spending habits driven by changing moods, some sudden new idea, or social influence. Actually, think about it. Have you ever bought a whole new wardrobe just because you felt anxious about an upcoming presentation? Yeah. To counter this, you've got to shift toward grounded security. This means channeling your natural curiosity into practical problem solving and planned investments rather than making impulse purchases driven by an overactive mind. Which brings us to our final section, Section 6, Scaling for Long-Term Security, Maturing Your Financial Intelligence. As you mature, the source notes that this placement develops into true financial intelligence. You build lasting security not by just working yourself into the ground, but by combining your adaptable thinking, your intense curiosity about investments in new tech, and a serious commitment to continuous learning. High earners with this profile, they read constantly, they study market trends, and they continuously refine their strategic skills. They intuitively understand that their ability to learn and adopt is the ultimate hedge against literally any economic downturn. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to take a step back and look at the incredibly powerful toolkit you possess: intellect, adaptability, and persuasive speech. Your words are what build your wealth. So I'm going to leave you with one final provocative question to carry with you today. Knowing that your communication is hands down your most valuable capital, how are you going to invest your words today?